sir. Name, rank, department, all that sort of thing, please.
District Chief David Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, Dayton Fire Department.
And what do you have an update of what you can tell us what went on today?
So crews were initially responded out here to report of a building alarm or a fire alarm. And once we arrived on scene, what we found was that the building here is Kettering Labs. One of the lab workers noticed an odor, a strange odor in one of the labs, something that smelled like rotten eggs. That could be a number of substances, but they use a product called sulfur dioxide in the lab, which could have been putting off that odor. They have safety systems in the lab which didn't detect that, but as a safety precaution, we went ahead and pulled the fire alarm to evacuate the building. So when we arrived, the building was evacuated. At that point, because we don't have the safety systems going off telling us what it is, we didn't know what we had. So our hazmat team made an entry into the building, several entries using our meters and lots of sensors that we have to try to determine what we have. We were not able to find or locate anything specific. There's nothing hazardous in the building. We've opened up windows in our ventilated building at this point, and we've turned it back over to University of Dayton.
Sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So again, we don't know exactly what we had. What we know at this point that there wasn't actually a release of a product in the lab, and now the floors are all clear. The odor is dissipating, and we're going to turn it back over.
Did you talk to the lab persons on what they were missing?
Yeah, it was an ongoing. It's an ongoing operation that they had in the lab. As I understand it, they do some weathering of different materials from an engineering standpoint. So basically these are in a salt bath and some different things that involve a bunch of different chemicals. And once again, without being able to know exactly what we had, we have to treat it as an unknown. So we have to go slow. There's any number of things in these labs that can cause us problems, but they have a lot of safety systems in the labs. And we had a higher degree of confidence once we found out that their safety systems didn't trip. It wasn't their sensors that saw any of the things the dangerous things that they're monitoring for. But again, from a safety standpoint, we're going to take it slow, go through, and we checked all of the floors with the monitoring systems that we have.
At this point, how much longer do you think you and the hazmat crews are going to be on the scene?
I think we'll be here for another half an hour to an hour or so. We've got a few more things that we want to do, and we always use these as learning experiences. We're going to go into the lab with your folks, see how their systems work, and go over their procedures again. And so we'll just kind of use that time. We've reduced almost all the other fire apparatus. It'll just be the hazmat.
So you opened up the windows. You think they'll be able to go back to?
Yes, they're going to be able to return. I think we had given them a 1:30 return time initially, and I think we're going to be able to meet that. They should be back in business this afternoon. But that's up to UD. We'll turn that over to UD administration.
Do you know, will you give me an update of what time you physically called here?
You know what, I have to go back and look. Okay, catch that.
Was anybody transported from the scene?
We did have one student that was in the building that was having just a little bit of a watery nose, just kind of that sensation that you get, and we transported as a precaution because at that point again we didn't know what we had or we did not have, and so we'd rather have that person monitored medically for a brief period of time, and I do not have an update on what their status is. As far as I know.
None of your firefighters were hurt?
No.
Students report any injury or anything?
No. And again, UD did a really good job of getting everybody out and away from the building before it became so strong in there that it was a problem. So no, nobody else was hurt or injured. We secured the scene and backed everybody up.
Do you know? You don't know how many students were evacuated?
I do not.
Anything else you want to say about it?
The student to do to pull the fire alarm?
It was actually a lab personnel who pulled the fire alarm. It was absolutely the right thing to do. And again, this was a person that with some knowledge of what was going on in that lab, knew that smell meant that there could have been a release of something bad, and went ahead and pulled that alarm. And so they did absolutely the right thing.
Anything else you want to say, Renee?
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.